What's good? It's your boy CJ Goodfella back with the boxing clinic. You dig? And we back talking that real boxing ish. You know, one time for the one time. Make sure I had that in a minute. Talking about Lomachenko, Vasyl Lomachenko, hot tag versus Guillermo Rigondeaux. Is this a 50-50 fight? And I think from a strictly a competitive standpoint and torn between the fans, I think not. Just if you honestly ask fans who they think gonna win, I'll get into that in a minute. But from this standpoint, this point of view, and this angle, I believe it's a 50-50 fight because, you know, people, you know, fandom, you know, kind of lies with, you know, probably Rigondeaux some on this fight. And the people that hate Lomachenko hate him because they feel that he got his belt too fast. Oh, he handed his belt. They basically gave him a belt. He didn't have to go through the loops in the bullshit, you know. And he only has 10 fights. How did he? You know, is he pound for pound? It doesn't matter the quality of fight. If you know, one guy, like Conor McGregor goes to the ring and knocks out Mayweather, he's number one in the world in boxing to every casual fan around the world, and probably to some hardcores. You know, if somebody came into the boxing ring and knocked out Mike Tyson in his prime, you know, easily, and you know, he'd be number one. You know, it's about who you beat. That's the most important thing. He beat one of the baddest punchers on the planet, Nicholas Walters. Even though it's some asterisks behind that, he was, you know, lethargic. He had a draw. I thought he won before that fight. Top rank starred him and put him on the shelf. He was a cold guy, but cold as far as, you know, lethargic, hasn't been fighting on the shelf. And Top Rank really played him, you know, and made him take the Lomachenko fight because he was starving for a fight, you know. He beat Rocky Martinez, who was a top 10, 15 contender, you know, with under, 4 or 5 fights, whatever he had. You know, he fought Orlando Salido, a tough vet that he did lose to. Beat Gary Russell, that looked like a way better win than it never did, you know. Gary Russell is looking like he's trending towards a pound-for-pound status type, top 10 type guy, which I'm going to drop that pound-for-pound list tonight. I wasn't going to do one to the end of the year, but I'll do one in the summer one. But, you know, Gary Russell looked like that way. If he can get, you know, Santa Cruz, Frampton, Maraz in the ring with him, Valdez, Joseph Diaz, you know, he'd be pound for pound. He can be pound for pound. Very talented guy. His career, he got better after the Lomachenko loss, you know, in my opinion. So that's why, you know, people will tell you, "Ooh, Triple G's pound for pound number one," but Triple G ain't even got a dude that's better than Nicholas Walters was at that point in his career. Nicholas Walters was undefeated, knocked out Donaire, knocking out everybody that's moving. Danny Jacobs had already been knocked out. And that's his best win. But people will praise his resume, won't they? You dig? Nobody's on Triple G's resume as talented as Gary Russell, in my opinion, as well. And that goes for a lot of guys' resume. And then you got to go by the eye test, and his skills is off the chain. Well, I think from that point, people just had so much animosity to him because they felt like he was giving this. But if you watch him fight, you can see that it's his. He didn't have to go through the loops and the same bullshit. Going that first 10 to 15, 20 fights for guys is fights for guys to get acclimated to the sport of boxing, to get their confidence up. They're usually young. They're usually not fighting without the headgear on or smaller gloves. They're getting used to it, building their confidence up. Lomachenko didn't need that. But I think, you know, this is more of a 60-40 fight if you ask me the honest answer. Honestly, you know, and I can go 65-35 in my opinion, but I'd be nice and go 60-40. Because you got Rigondeaux moving up, you know, 8 pounds. He has good power at 122, but that's asking a lot for a guy as small as him to move up 8 pounds. But Lomachenko is the biggest you know, super featherweight in the world as well. You know, talent-wise, this is a fight that a lot of people want to see. It's definitely not a lopsided fight, you know, on paper. You know, once you factor in the weight, it could be lopsided in your opinion. But this is a high-skills, high-stakes boxing match. And, you know, if Rigondeaux can beat Lomachenko, I think he will get way more credit than Lomachenko being a Rigondeaux because the smaller guy is moving up, taking the risk, and people will clamor for and poke at Lomachenko for not moving up and taking the risk to 135 or potentially 140 to challenge a Crawford to prove that he really is the best. And I've been on that tip as well. But at least moving up to 135 and challenging Mikey Garcia before he sets off into the sunset at 140 and 147. People want to see it. You know, they want to see them test themselves. If Rigondeaux was taking the ultimate test to move up 8 pounds two weight divisions to take on him and willing to do it. And I hope it happened. But I think it's more of a 60-40 fight in my opinion. We gone.